Thank you so much, Teresa and Andy, for this opportunity to talk about a topic that's near and dear to my heart, which is that aha moment, the thing that motivates me as I think about all the work we have to do within Veteran Affairs. It is quite an experience, and I'm going to share a little bit of that with you today. So as we think about technology, and in particular what it means to people, I like to think about it as it's part of our DNA. I'm sure many of you have a device on your wrist. You use it to see how many steps you made today. You use it to see how many calories. Our docs use technology to figure out where we are, what our electronic health record is saying about us, and ultimately, it's how we talk to everyone else and how we really plan our lives. Approximately 15 years ago, this wasn't the truth, and it is now. And I believe it's becoming more and more a part of our truth and our transformation and what we can become. And so the real opportunity is to think how you can make that real. You know, how does it go from being a concept to a reality? And that's the thing that creates that moment when you know you've made a difference. And at the VA, it's our mission to really make that difference for the veterans' sake. At the end of the day, it's a mission-oriented organization and agency, and our primary purpose is to enable and keep the promise that Lincoln made, which was to care for him who should have borne the battle, and for his widow and his orphan, by serving and honoring the men and women who are Americans' veterans. And I'm sure all of us in this room understand the importance of that promise, but also the importance and how we can do it and how we can leverage a secure technology to make that real. So for me, it's a question of how do you get from the idea to a real solution? How do you make it pertain to that veteran? How do you create an environment inside of what I would say is one of the older bureaucracies in the government? Now, I came from private life. I had never worked in a public domain, so getting people to understand and accept technology is always different. How we accept it, how we create our own DNA, how we use it is a personal experience. And so I believe the solution often lies in perspective. You can have the perspective of the coder and the developer, which is my idea is always the best idea, so therefore you should use it. Or, I say that as an ex-COBOL assembler person myself, or you can say, I got to think about meeting the requirements and making that work. And I would say that that's sort of old school. And I think we have to start thinking in terms of who the product is really for, and that's the veteran. And in our case, that person, those people, that experience is what really creates the opportunity. So when we think about it, we're really encouraging ourselves to think through that experience, not just think about what the product is. And so when I arrived as an appointee in June last year, and after confirmation in June, sworn in July, I knew I had exactly 18 months to figure this out. Now, 18 months is not a long time. And certainly for those that decided, well, we'll just wait out our time, 18 months, you'll burn it. The reality is, with technology, that's not the case. The fact is, if we start thinking about the experience, the opportunity is right in front of us. So we had to envision what was most important, where to start first, how to get to that aha, I got it. And that was key. And so with the team thinking through what it would take, sort of coalescing on how we felt it would matter, we really began the mission of defining the mission, the vision, the change necessary, and ultimately adopting the change. Deciding on the change and not adopting it is not really driving anything. So the issue of continuously assessing and making the change again and doing it real time means that you're driving to an outcome, not just an activity. It means that you're actually knowing that you're going to get something done, and you're not working on perfection, but you're working on action to impact. And if the experience is about the veteran experience, then we're putting ourselves in their shoes. And if that's the case, you drive to a faster solution and one that's more applicable to their needs. And so when you start thinking about the whole process of mission, change, vision, the adoption, the change again, the reinvention to come up with the outcome, we feel that you have the best opportunity to really drive away from just thinking about policy and process to really driving to the experience. See, today, many of our veterans have to opt in. They have to opt into a process. I would like to assume they're all in as they come out of active duty and have them opt out. And that they would very seldom want to opt out because the experience will be so useful, so helpful to them in all ways, not just in health, not just in a benefit, but in the benefits to their children, to the benefits to their spouses, to the realities of all the things that we have to make sure that they have rights to, but they also feel comfortable in assessing. So the reality for us is that we have to really think about reinvention and adopting new processes. And we decided that, and our biggest new process in full adoption was really around piloting a change in how we were going to do our programs. How are we getting our programs done faster, cheaper, and better? How are we going to ensure that the products we delivered really changed an experience, not just created another application? Because we do not need another application. So when we started working on this, it was driven really around our core area of program project management. And we went about replacing our product called PMAS, which was our portfolio management process, to one called Veteran Focused Integration Process, or VIP. And the VIP process was not just about having a new process. No, it was about shortening the time to delivery and making sure that the delivery was focused on veteran experience going in, and that as much of the capability and security was at the beginning of the process so that nothing stopped you from deploying it. And so when we looked at it, we started merging various processes, calendars, the skills needed to make that really happen, the direction in which we integrated things on an enterprise level, not in a silo. And for that change intervention and that whole pilot process showed us a number of key opportunities to leverage this skill as our control tower. The thing that was going to make sure that whatever we did was really going to support that veteran that was so important to us. So as we started looking at this process, we were able to actually do some, I would call, miraculous things. We took our entire development cycle down from 6 months to 3. And in doing it in half the time, we were also able to reduce our overhead by 80%. We were able to also get us down to one change calendar from, I think it was 60, and down to one release calendar. We know the productivity gain is something that we can use to create more productivity and reward for the vet. And so as we think about what we do at the VA, we have to think about that experience, put ourselves into their boots, think about the need to secure their data, to treat their data better than anybody's ever treated ours, to make sure that they know that we have their backs, we got their six. And so at the end of the day, we're always thinking about that tomorrow, not just today. See, I've never been a maintainer. I'm not good at that. I just am not. I'm a change agent. I like to see things work. I like to see them work quickly, and I like to see them work for those that benefit most. And so there's nothing wrong with dreaming. Absolutely nothing. The fact is, innovation and technology allows you to dream and innovate in ways that nothing else is done in our lifetime. And I'm happy to say I could be a part of that. The gray hair shows it. And so when we think about embracing new solutions and collaborating and engaging, we have to think about the people, because there's real people at the end of everything that we create. There's folks that are counting on us that what we do will enable someone else to do their job better, or will actually enable that veteran to receive the data, the information in the way that he needs it or she needs it to enable the best health care that they can get. So we have to change those perspectives and not just processes, but don't misunderstand me. We all know that good process is the key to great technology. And you can have the best technology and a bad process. And what do you have? Bad technology with a bad process. And so the objective really is to go beyond the technical requirements of thinking, feeling, and focusing on that end user experience, what their needs are, and putting them first. Now, that's not actually an easy thing to do because it requires that you move yourself aside. It requires that you embrace new principles. And so the first month of arriving, our new principles were focused on 4 key things and 4 key things only: accountability, transparency, innovation, and teamwork. With those 4 things, we know any team can be successful. Any team can be successful. So at the end of the day, we think about the bigger picture. As I mentioned, the mission was for those who have borne the battle and their orphans and children. See, this is a family affair. It includes all those people that matter to the veteran, and it includes the people that have a right to the benefits that those veterans have achieved and earned. Because all of us have that moment when we want that aha, when we realize innovation begins with understanding the people who will use it. And technology is at its best when it's being used to change an experience. I thank Amazon because they certainly have changed my experience. I'm sure they have changed your experience, have saved me much time from shopping, actually. My husband sees the cardboard. We're going to work on the cardboard problem, but long and short, it is about the people. People use the technology, and ultimately it's our job to ensure that it changes their experience. Thank you.